Well, hello. Let's see if I remember how to oil paint. It's been a very long time. A long time. Like years since the last time I did any sort of serious oil painting. So these are a whole bunch of supplies I may or may not use. My favorite brush cleaner, which I'm clearly using. But no worries, because I got a new one. It's a little excessive. Yes. Do I care? No. You can fight me. Is it actually art supply hoarding if you actually use the supplies? Medium W, Liquid Original, some erasers. Oh, I use this as a palette sometimes. It's an old table pad thing that just functions as a surface that I can beat the hell up. This is some transparency films that I bought who knows when. There's a whole bunch of them in there, and nobody uses these anymore. So I tape them onto that board, and I just use them as palettes. You know, they're temporary palettes, and I've got a whole bunch that are going to last me forever. I've been using them for years now. This box lasts me forever. I used to take those on with me when I used to do plein air painting, just because it's cheap. These are wire mesh things that I got from the dollar store, and I have some very nice brushes. I splurged, and I got some very nice brushes. Look at this. They are Bob Ross branded brushes. They are not cheap, but if you can see, I haven't used most of them at all for anything at all. Different sizes, a whole bunches of different sizes, and because I can't help myself, I wanted them all, and everybody can fight me. These kind of things bring me material joy in a way that other things don't. So, I love my art supplies. I'm going to keep acquiring them, and I'm going to keep using them. And that is my stance in life. The wire mesh things are kind of a pain, but they're temporary. That's why I use them, because I can use them for a whole bunch of different purposes and just move them around as needed. Whole bunch of different kinds of paint. Lamp black, flake white, greens and blues and all sorts of normal colors that you'd use in a landscape. I just grabbed a whole bunch of them. And some shop towels. I like shop towels. Gloves. I need gloves when I'm doing oils because I'm a messy kind of person, and oils are something that you don't want to get on everything. At least I don't want to get on everything. So I'm going to tape down the back so that the canvas actually stays in place while I am just moving around the brushes on it, because since we're doing oils, you gotta blend the hell out of it. Oils are about blending, where you just blend it until you can't stand it, and then you continue to blend it some more. So we're gonna make this a stable thing so that I don't fuss around everywhere, because if I don't, that's what's gonna happen. There are some benefits about knowing your own personality type and what you do with things. If you know you're messy and you want to do oils, put on the dang gloves, okay? Just do it. I know it's a pain, but do it. Okay, you ready? You ready to start? Oh, it's been so long. I'm kind of excited about it. Oh. Bob Ross, Liquid White. Did I have to? No. Did I? Yes.
Woo. Oh, that might be too much.
You really only need like a pea-sized amount on a canvas, but you just blend it out. That much blending. Just keep blending. That's why I sped this part up.
Boop. Come on.
My trusty torture devices, because my hands don't like to open these kind of bottles. They just don't. Sometimes you need help, and that's okay.
See, look at this.
And this is why we wear gloves, so it doesn't get on everything I own. Literally everything I own would be covered in paint. Otherwise, we don't want that. No, we don't. I've had this bottle of Flake White forever. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Maybe I need to use that bottle up. We're gonna change gloves because otherwise like I said, I'm gonna get it on everything. We're just gonna try to wipe it off the torture devices and just make sure it doesn't continue. New gloves, need those. Oh, this is Gamsol and a little squeezy bottle, so that's easy to add onto a palette. There's also a nice little tip if you got some thick paint like that white that I just got out that's intolerable. We're not going to deal with that. No, we're not. We're just going to put some Gamsol in it and it'll be fine. Now this is Thalo Blue, one of my favorite colors because it's one of the transparent blues that is very, very, very stout. It goes a long way, and it can be anywhere from this very, very vibrant, almost robin's egg blue, all the way to a very, very deep, 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 almost black blue, depending on how thick you're putting. Oh no. Depending on how thick you're putting it on the canvas. So you'll see me add the Gamsol to the paint on the palette just randomly when I feel like I need thinner paint. It's a normal artist technique to do, especially in the early stages of a painting. Like, you don't want to put on thick paint too early. You want that texture to be the very last part of a painting. Okay, see, look at this. This is how much oil I'm getting in the brush. It's not much. Like, in this very beginning stages, we're working with very little amounts of paint, very small amounts. And the reason why is because we're building up translucency. We're building up dimension in the painting. And we're blending until we can't stand it. So the sky, oh no. Okay, so I have a bone to pick. I'm going on a tangent here. I don't care. I have a bone to pick here with these brushes, okay? So they were not cheap brushes. And we're shedding hairs already. Can we not do that? Like, see, look, why? These were like, oh no, they were almost $20 a brush. Why? I want to love you. I do. I want to very much love you. But we're not going to be friends if you keep putting little hairs everywhere in my paintings. We're not gonna get along. So please stop doing that after I do. If this is still happening after like 4 or 5 paintings, this is probably going to be a no starter for me. It's just how it is. So, as I keep going, hopefully there will be less of this. But I'm starting to add more dimension into the sky here, and we're just see the difference in the colors already. Because that's all that is that Thalo Blue. I have not added any other blues to it. It's just that Thalo Blue that I'm mixing in there and I'm blending out to give all of that dimension. Fresh brush, we're going to blend. Sometimes you need to get out a fresh brush with nothing on it just to make sure that you can cleanly blend everything. Because oil painting is a lot of blending. Lots and lots and lots of blending. At least for me. At least for me in this stage and this kind of out of focus kind of landscape. That's also kind of the reason why I had to buy so many brushes, because I knew at this point you're going to need brushes that are full of paint and you're going to also need brushes that are pretty clean, just so that you can do this kind of technique of wet on wet blending. This is not a hard concept, little Bob Ross brushes. Please stop shedding your hairs into my paintings. Thank you. But I do have to say, getting back into oil painting, this feels good. It feels right, and I think I'm going to do much more of this. Ooh, this white is giving me so much trouble, though. Why? As long as I can make it work, I'm going to keep using it till it's gone. I mean, there's still quite a bit of white left in that tube. I mean, zinc white is not the same as titanium white. I mean, zinc white is not as stout. So it's nice for building up bits without overwhelming other types of paint. Because titanium white has like 20 times the amount of pigment. Okay, see, I have tea today. See, my cup is full. Okay. We're just not going to keep it around the oils because I don't want to eat any oils accidentally. A lot more paint in my brush this time. Do you see how over time I'm starting to add more and more paint? Like you start out with very small, minuscule amounts, and over time, over the session, you just keep adding, and you keep blending it in and making this beautiful goodness of layers. And that's the thing that makes oil paints different from other mediums, is that the optical illusion that light plays on the eyes from all the layers. So I'm just going to use a fresh brush here because we need to do some more blending. Can't help it. We're going to switch over to some of the brown because we're going to start working on land shapes next. And we're just laying in some general areas of where land might be. We're not really too worried about the structure of anything. We're just kind of let it happen as it goes. I don't have any reference photos for any of this. I am just, oh, please. I make up stuff a lot. Oh, my soul is dying a little. Why? I do very much enjoy painting daydreams, painting your imagination, and anything that you can think of. I want to be able to paint that. That's one of the delightful things to me. But in a lot of ways, because I don't have great capability to communicate, like I don't speak so well, and that's okay. I can live with that. But it's easier for me to paint a daydream, to paint an actual dream that I've had over time. And that's kind of what I want to do. So we're going to start adding some more of the green tones with a new brush, of course. I think this is a Viridian green, and it's a transparent one. There's not a lot to it. It's not super stout of a color, but, it's good for toning what's already on your canvas. And so we're going to use it kind of like the undertone of the green and the brown to make it a bit more, earthy and a little more grass and leafy kind of likeness to it. We go blend, because we're not at the detail part of this yet. Anyways, I kind of want all this out of focus. And we're going to start adding some ochre yellow, which is a very earthy kind of yellow that works really well for landscape paintings. It's kind of a requirement. And now we're going to start adding a little bit of extra, I wouldn't say detail because guess what, we're going to blend this out too, but adding a little more dimension into the background is what we're doing right here. And we're still in the early stage of the land where we can keep adding layers to bring forth parts and to make parts go back into the landscape. So I'm going to clean off this brush a little bit because I don't want that much on it. And we're going to blend and see, we're just going to fade some of this into the background. So it's kind of a little bit of dimension to those areas, but it's not like super distinct details. It's not that. This is something different for this blended out landscape. Do you see that difference there? How that turned into? And now we're going to put a little bit of fog into it, and we're just going to play with bringing forward and pushing back parts of this landscape because I hadn't decided yet how I wanted this to look. So we got time. The cool thing with oil is that you got time. You can take your time doing this kind of stuff, and you can always wipe it off with a rag if you don't like it and start again, and that's okay. Or, you can wait for it to dry and then do a whole nother layer on top, completely fresh. Nobody's gonna judge. Nobody's gonna know. I've found over the years that a lot of people have a fear of art. They have a fear of doing art. And I don't have that fear. I'm not, this is not in any sort of way a brag of any kind. It's just because I've done it so long and I've spent so many thousands of hours painting in different mediums and such. It's just something that you kind of lose over time just by virtue of doing a lot of it. I think that's something that will really only come with practice and with time, to losing that fear of art. You can see some of the detail I've added to the grass now, and that's completely done with the texture of the actual bristles itself. I haven't done anything special other than allow the bristles to leave little marks in the oil. That's really all it is. And that's really the reason why I do love these brushes, and I would love to love these brushes long term. If they stop shedding, please stop shedding, because they can do some really beautiful things in this in oil that I don't know how to otherwise do. They make that part along with the blending. They make the blending and they make the very easy brush texture. So what do you think? Would you try this painting? Would you try these new brushes? And let me know how you think of them, because I think I like them. I think if I can get past, the flaws. But look at what they've done with this painting. Look what they've done. Look at this. Look at it. I love it. I do. I love it. I really do. I can imagine walking through this landscape. I can imagine hiking through this very misty, foggy afternoon on top of the mountain and looking into the distant fog. I can see it. Thanks, guys. Keep your cup full and go make some cool stuff.